Jim Hall's a former chairman of the NTSB and sat in on the first day of those hearings. Robert Hager is NBC's aviation special correspondent. Good morning to both of you.
Morning, Matt. Good morning, Matt.
Jim, we're now hearing that according to the NTSB, there is an indication that fatigue and a lack of experience played a role in this particular crash. We've been talking about those two things for a long time, fatigue and experience levels. How big an overall problem is this, especially in the regional air traffic industry?
The regional air traffic industry, Matt, has now grown to 50% of all the flights that take off. And while we as customers are paying major league prices, they're delivering essentially farm league work rules and farm league salaries to their employees.
Well, we talk about farm league. Let's be clear here. The pilot and the co-pilot on this flight were qualified to be in the cockpit. I mean, this is not like somebody hijacked this plane. But how would you judge and rate their overall experience level as compared to other pilots on larger commercial airlines?
Well, if you look very closely at the details of this investigation, obviously these individuals were not qualified to operate this sophisticated aircraft in this type of weather condition. And the responsibility for that goes straight to the company and the oversight responsibilities of the Federal Aviation Administration.
Bob, is it a black and white situation here? I mean, each accident is different, but can we say with some degree of safety or security that had they received more training in this particular type of weather situation, they might have had a much better chance of saving that aircraft?
Oh, I think so. This should have been instinctive on the captain's part. Originally everybody thought it was icing, and now the investigators believe, after examining all the evidence, that ice really didn't play a role. The stick shaker went off. The crew lost track of their airspeed. It had dropped off. They were going too slowly. Stick shaker is a warning that you're about to have an aerodynamic stall, and the correct procedure is to lower the nose so the plane would pick up speed and regain its airflow. In this case, they raised the nose, and that was the exact wrong thing to do, and the plane crashed.
Jim, you bring up an interesting point a second ago that the regional air business now accounts for 50% of the airline industry. There are parts of the country where consumers simply do not have a choice. This is the way they get to and from their destination. So what's the news you can use out of this? What's the consumer information we should be passing along?
Well, I think we need to look to Congress to provide hearings on this issue and to mandate the same rules for regional airlines that are in place for the larger commercial airlines. We know we can operate a safe airline system. We have most of this decade. 8 of the 9 accidents this decade have been in the regional airline system.
Do you anticipate, Bob, I'll just give you the last word, do you anticipate major changes as a result of this accident?
Oh, yes, I think so. Nothing like an accident to get the public's attention and Congress's attention. You know, they thought a couple of decades ago that they had this problem solved. Just 12 years ago, they adopted a one level of safety rule so that the same safety rules would apply to big airlines as applied to these smaller airlines. Now I think these hearings have been shocking in what they've revealed, and it's evident that somehow salary differentials or something, that's fallen out of kilter, and we need to revisit those rules, make them much tougher.
Bob Hager and Jim Hall, guys, thanks very much for your input. I appreciate it.
Sure.